Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Rise and Slay morning show. It is to slay, all right, and I hope that everyone is doing well and that you are excited for the week and you have a lot of goals that you are getting after. And so I am here as your host of the Rise and Slay morning show. My name is Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. I advise and empower women professionals and organizations to achieve professional success by focusing on image and impact. And we're looking at professional appearance, behaviors, communication skills, and online presence because I know from my experiences that when you are focusing on these four different areas, you can get after whatever you want to get after. All right. And so if you are here, please let us know that you are here. Go ahead and put it into the chat so I can recognize you. Slay, y'all, means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, and to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym, and it stands for life and leadership philosophies that really resonated with me the most over my years on this earth. All right. And that stay ready, be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community, and you are built to last. Okay, so I am a professional keynote speaker as well as an image consultant, personal brand expert, and a United States Air Force veteran of 30 years. So please thank you so much for coming in this morning. I know y'all are busy. And so I just want to speak to you all about how using personal branding meets public speaking. All right, so let's just do an overview again. All right, I'm your personal brand expert. As your personal brand expert, I am sharing strategies, if you will, tips, tricks on how you can put a concerted effort towards letting people know what you're working on. And usually, this is an effort to build expertise and visibility in your respective industries, wherever you're working. And that allows us to participate in opportunities that might otherwise be closed. It's also our work and our reputation, because when our work and reputation truly speaks for us, when we can't influence decision making, that's when you know you got a strong, memorable personal brand. And I help to make sure that you gain lucrative opportunities, that you are building unstoppable confidence, and you're unapologetically yourself. Good morning, Queen. How you doing? I am doing well. I'm so glad you're here, Ernestine. And it's glad to see you showing up here on the Rise and Slay morning show. And I will keep on slaying, and you will keep on slaying as well. So thank you so much for your time and for your presence this morning. And if you got anything to add to the conversation, just go ahead and put it into the chat. You never know who it may be helping. And this is a community. All right. So, with this personal brand really has to be on point. And so you have to identify what makes you you. You have to define the system that you're going to use to power your personal brand. You need to put yourself out there, okay? And you need to have passive and active networking techniques and tips. And you need to review and refine every now and again because our personal brand is evolving. And so today I want to talk you through a little bit about my journey from being in the military and speaking in the military to being in the civilian life in my next chapter and now being a public speaker. Kind of how that all came to be. Now, I'll start from before I went into the military. So I went into the military in 1991, but in 1990, I was selected to be a drum major. And so I was in band for, most of my high school years. And I was selected to be the drum major. I was at the front. I was keeping time. I was making sure that everyone knew where their spot was. I was directing people. I was the person up on the ladder. And that gave me an insight to, because even though I wasn't sharing a message, I was actually demonstrating. I was guiding All right. And it was a form of communication. I was pointing, I was doing my hand movements, making sure everybody knew the tempo. When it slowed down, I had to slow down. When they needed to speed up, I needed to put my hands out there and speed up. I would look at a certain crowd, like if there was the baritones and the trumpets and the tubas. I would make sure that when they came in their part, I would point to them, and let them, shine and give them, you give the audience what they wanted. Then I had the flutes, and the clarinets and the saxophone players. And they knew, like when I brought my hands in, I knew, they were going to get louder. When I put my hand here, I was like, hey, just a little bit more quiet. And the drums, it was a whole thing, y'all. It was a whole thing. So when I went into the military, I wasn't afraid to speak. Um, I was a little bit hesitant to speak in front of senior leaders because I didn't want to, like embarrass myself. I didn't want to say stuff that, wasn't in alignment with what the military was doing. So there was a lot of hesitation at first, but then I got better, right? As soon as I got into some leadership roles, I understood that I needed to speak. I needed to advocate on behalf of my team. I need to advocate on behalf of myself. And as I matured into the military, I found myself in my last role, and it was the pandemic. All right. And during the pandemic, everything was shut off. I needed a way to communicate to the base. And one of the things that I took on was Facebook Lives. So I would be in my office, I take the podium from another office and I would set it up and it act like this is my stage, right? I'm going to create a stage here. And I had an assistant. Her name is Tiffany Cook, and she's still active duty, y'all, in the military. She's doing extremely well. And she would put the camera up and then she would turn on the live button and I would just go in and speak on, what the kind of things that are happening around the base, giving some encouragement, giving some inspiration. And I started to really master my communication. And at first, I didn't know where this would go until when I retired, I decided to get my motivational speaking certification. And once I got that, I realized that I could make a career of this. Like I can share stories about my military career experiences to help inspire and motivate and move people. And I it's evolved, as you can see sometimes, I'm at different places. I'm in different crowds of people. I'm in different on different platforms, different audiences. And so there's a lot that goes into it, but this morning, I want to share with you kind of what I learned. All right. And if any of you are looking to become better public speakers, or you want to share your story, or if you're being asked to come in and give a presentation, maybe some of the things that I learned will help you too. And that's what it's all about. All right. Because sharing is caring. All right. So, I had to really because I have some notes here that I've written it down. So that's why I'm looking down on my iPad here because I've written them out. But I found that the public speaking is more than just a skill, right? It is a vital tool for leadership, communication, and influence. So I had to command attention when I was in the military, meaning I had to hold my audience, diverse audience, people from different backgrounds, different AFSCs, which is Air Force Specialty Codes, different jobs, different experiences. And I had to grab them and hold their attention. And so that's when I started using Slay. Slay was like the thing, it was the vehicle. All right. And most people, when they hear the word slay, they're like, oh my gosh, this is fresh. This is new. This is exciting. What's this all about? And that's the energy that I wanted to create. So I started to use that. And when I used Slay, I can now talk about any of those elements. Stay ready to be ready. How do you need to be prepared? How you need to um, focus on your mental health, your physical health. 8 dimensions of wellness. Like I can go in on a conversation, lead out loud. I can talk about leadership qualities, like discipline and resiliency and, structure and connections. I can talk all day, a sense of community, how you build teams, how you can network and collaborate with others to get the job done. And then you are built to last is a whole conversation. All right. Because even when we felt like it was hard and it was tough, and military service is hard and tough, y'all. Okay. I wanted to encourage and inspire the intrinsic motivation out of the people that I was responsible for to show up and to really think about how they were going to push through. And the difficulties, there's so many sacrifices that you have to think about. So it was truly a way for me to continue to talk. Like I always had something to talk about. And that's what you want to be as a public speaker. You want to make sure that you have some confidence when you're speaking, some clarity, and that engagement has to be there. There were so many high stakes situations that I was involved with that I had to really think about what were they thinking about? And it wasn't about me. All right. Yes, I was in it too. But, as you get mature into your career, you're not nearly at the helm. All right. You are directing, but there's so many people doing the hard work. How do you connect with them? Well, you have to put your feet in their shoes. You have to understand where you came from and what the feelings were. And so you have to be able to rally the team, whatever team you have, or audience, or whoever you're in front of, towards a common goal. So I had this mastery of the art of communication for quite some time. And now what I'm doing is really in it, like I'm deep in it, y'all. All right. As you know, I wrote 2 books. All right. Well, 3 books actually, but these 2 books on personal branding. Okay. And about elevating your image. This one here, is like opposite. And then this one here about owning your power. I really took the time to think about my career. All right. And how the tools, the strategies that I have learned and now into the civilian world has really set me up for opportunities. I have been on a lot of stages since I retired. All right. And either virtual or in person. And it is teaching me that public speaking, all right, is about inspiring and motivating others in such a way where it's different. I have a different spin. As you know, I use pink as my color, so that people can remember me when I leave, because you want lasting impression and you're trying to create opportunities within opportunities. So, my public speaking in the military was not just about sharing information. Like I said again, I had to address my airmen and my senior leaders. I had to lead strategic meetings. I had to energize and guide those that were around me. And so all of us can recall moments when our words sparked action or encouraged others to strive for excellence. So, this ability to inspire and motivate others, as I have transitioned into my role as a public speaker, is an opportunity for me to ignite passion, all right, drive change, and empower my audience. So I love public speaking. All right, I have 2 shows. I have this show, and then I have one on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so I'm using that towards my advantage. So, um, we all have different unique value propositions. So UVP, all right, just remember that abbreviation. And if you're from the military, we love acronyms. All right, so UVP. So, what are your unique skills? What are your unique experiences? What are the perspectives that set you apart? And you should clearly communicate what makes you special, like all the time, and the value that you bring to the audience and or to your clients if you're in the consultant space. So for instance, my leadership experience as a drum major, as I shared with you earlier, it highlights my ability to inspire and unite teams. So I share when it's appropriate. All right. I don't share that I'm a drum major at every event that or that I was a drum major at every event. It is pertinent to my audience. And then I'm consistent. You got to be consistent. All right. Because all across the platform. So what I did yesterday, y'all, and you all can do it too. Okay. I went and Googled myself yesterday. I put in a search engine my full name, and then I went to images because I wanted to see what pictures, that the internet webs was going to push out. And man, oh man, I have like, I don't know, 4 blocks of pictures of different places that I have been, my marketing tools. And I was like, man, and they were all positive and they were consistent. And so I was truly like impressed because I was like, when you don't know what you're doing at first, it could be a little bit hard. But then after a while, you're like, oh my goodness, this is something that I have built on my own. So I'm consistently showcasing my expertise in leadership and public speaking. And that's reinforcing my brand as a motivational and strategic thinker. I am a visionary. All right. No one that I know really in my immediate space is talking about personal branding, but I do have a community that's out there on LinkedIn, who is out there on Facebook, who is talking about it too. And so we are connecting to one another all the time so that we can reinforce what we're speaking to and be the only viable option for people to select. And so I have future presentations that I'm giving, and I'm absolutely loving that I create a path for myself based on my strong, memorable personal brand. And it's also authenticity. All right. I am a little bit quirky. Um, Sometimes people don't know how to take me, and I get that. Um, I work out every day, y'all. I mean, I get up in the morning, work out, and then I'm at night walking around in the neighborhood. All right. But because that's who I am at my core, I say things like keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. Um, I, I do things that my husband and my son are like, what is going on here? It's just me. All right. And so I understand that I have a genuine passion for empowering women, and my dedication to leadership and excellence is also a part of that. And so when I'm talking to women, I often share with them about knowing their story, all right, knowing their value, making sure that, they're the ones that are in control of their narrative. So all these things, y'all, all right, we have to be in know and we have to be lockstepped in. So the other thing is, I really know my audiences, and because I do research. Um, so the way that I speak to veterans, because I often get called to military events as a keynote or on a guest panel. The way that I speak to the veterans and active duty members is so much different than what I speak to when I'm speaking to civilians. All right. It has to be. I don't have any lingo and jargon and all these acronyms when I'm going into civilian communities. All right. They don't understand, even if they have some affiliation with the military, acronyms change all the time. Okay, so I do my very best due diligence and making sure that I extract any abbreviations and acronyms that are not going to connect with my audience. Now, when I'm with my military people, you know it. I'm in it. Okay, y'all. I'm looking up acronyms like the generalized popular ones to resonate and connect, because I have to understand their needs. I have to understand challenges and their interests to make that communication relevant and impactful. Relevant and impactful. So I often share my experiences when I'm with my military community and some insight that directly addresses, their journey, because I want them to come out as a hero. All right. They are the hero in their own story. And so what I do is share the ups, downs, and in betweens of my military career. And when I'm with my civilian counterparts, what I share with them is my ups, downs, and in betweens of my transition. Because most of the audiences in the civilian sector are women who are transitioning into different areas of their life. Maybe they're getting into a new career. Maybe they're going into an executive leadership role. Maybe they're returning back to work after their family, like leaves, because, most of our kids are getting to an age right now where they just make their own life. And that's what they're supposed to be doing. And so, I address the journeys depending on the audience. And I use storytelling. I love to storytell. I have different stories of different experiences for different things, all right, because I've written them out. So take the time sometimes to write out what your stories is, because they are powerful tools for connection and for engagement. So share some personal anecdotes, share some real life examples to illustrate your points and make your message more relatable, because that's what people want to hear. All right. The generalized conversations, if you will, are not as um, resonating, because that could happen to anybody. But tell your story. All right. So I share my story from being a military public speaker now into transitioning here in the civilian sector. And again, I got my certification. People were reaching out to me. I have spoken at bases. I've flown out to particular military installations. I was a keynote speaker for that. Then I've done podcasts on top of podcasts. I have a podcast at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time that I'm getting ready to get on, and I'm going to collaborate with another woman, and we're going to be talking about professional image. This way, I'm always active in speaking, and I'm always learning how to get better at the topics that people are coming to me to speak about. So, we also have to engage with empathy and emotion. All right. Now, I chose the color pink because I wanted to soften up a little bit. I have been in masculine energy for a very long time. And so I want to show a little bit more softness and empathy, all right, and understanding, because sometimes, I had to give tough love a lot when I was in the military in different roles. And sometimes that tough love is more like, oh, aggressive, and get this done right now. And okay, we all are going through the same thing. But I wanted to foster more trust, all right, and make my messages more compelling. So when I speak to women professionals, I'm really empathizing with their challenges. I'm empathizing and I want to celebrate their successes. We all have these successes, small, medium, large, however you think they are, and make my messages resonate deeply with them. So, other thing is, I highlight my leadership skills. All right. I got my master's of science degree in strategic leadership after I retired from the military. 3 decades. Okay. And I decided when I retired, hey, you know what? You really do like leadership. You like talking about it. You like doing it. You really are intrigued. So I went and got my master's degree in that. So I highlight, my leadership acumen. I am most proud of some of the roles that I served in when I was in the military, and the discipline that I developed in the military, because these qualities are highly valued in professional settings, and it can greatly enhance my credibility as a speaker. So, my military background taught me the importance of discipline and strategic thinking, which I now incorporate into my public speaking. So, yes, I do talk about personal branding, but you will hear threads, you will hear, some references to leadership and some of the things and situations I had to overcome. And, we just have to understand what we want to be speaking about, especially if you are a great speaker in your career right now and you just want to do something different and speak on different platforms. So I'm just giving y'all a little bit of some tools some things to think about as you are navigating into your journey. But I really know that my public speaking has allowed me to grow and has allowed my business to grow, because people don't know what you're doing unless you're speaking about it. All right. You can't just wear a name tag and go to a networking event and not share with them exactly what you're doing. I've got a personal brand statement, I've got a business statement, I've got, a 30-second pitch, if you will, of how I do what I do. I have been called upon many a times, and I just grab the microphone, but I have an idea of what I'm going to be speaking about. I am not willy-nilly it, all right? I'm not going up there not prepared. I understand what it means to provide the right content for the right moment for the right audience. And so understanding our experience is so valuable to us. And we all are public speakers in some way. We all can be powerful keynote speakers in some way. So we just have to incorporate a little bit of tips and the importance of personal branding. So master your art of engaging communication. Leverage your experiences, whether it's military, corporate, business, to propel your career, to propel your message. If you're a community leader, we have messages. Okay, we have things that we are very passionate about, and we want to make changes. We want to make differences in this world. So I just gave you a little bit of insight, if you will, to how using personal branding can meet public speaking. And everyone us every one of us has a story. Everyone has something to share with this world. Every one of us has platforms. All right. You don't have to do it the way that I'm doing it. All right. Because I'm all over the place, y'all. All right. So you're going to see me here, there, and everywhere. But I decided this is one of the things that I'm really, really great at. And I build my confidence level up to engage in different opportunities. So this has been your Rise and Slay morning discussion. Thank you so much, Ernestine, for being here live with me this morning. For anyone else who comes back to the show later on, because I know everybody's got things going on, here's my banner. Just tell us your name and where you're streaming in live from. If you come back and watch the show, I do have a YouTube channel. As you all know, all of my videos are downloaded onto my YouTube channel, and you can find it by Rochelle Hemingway. And you can listen. I have so much content over there. Share and subscribe. And again, understanding and knowing the SLAY mantra. Okay. Stay ready to be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community, and you are built to last. So identify what makes you you, define the system that powers your personal brand, put yourself out there if that's what you're wanting to do. Um, Go to passive and active networking events that are about center around your values, your interests, and your expertise, and then review and refine. And if you need some support, you know who you need to come and talk to. Okay. So I have one more comment. Let me see what we got going on. Hey, Liz. What's going on, Queen? This girl, everybody, this is one of my Air Force sisters, okay? And she's checking in from San Antonio. So thank you so much for being here with us live, Queen. I hope everything is going well. I know everything is going well because you part of the community. You know what I mean? So keep on slaying. All right. So thank you all for being here. I will be back next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another conversation, because these are conversations. But if you're out there in LinkedIn land, on Facebook land, and you want another opportunity to hear what I'm going to be speaking about, I am going to be with a lady. Her name is Julie Jones, and we're going to have a virtual conversation about personal and professional image. You will not want to miss that. Okay, so follow us. Again, that is in about 30 minutes. Okay, you're going to see me in the same outfit. on a different platform. All right. So keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. Love y'all. Have an amazing week. Bye bye.
Yeah.